theological inquiry on liturgy. It's really not an easy thing to understand. I can tell you to really understand what is a liturgical action, we will see, is really a hard problem, because this liturgical action is not a particular form of human action. It is conceived from the point of view of Christianity as the supreme action. No other action has this status. So this is the real activity of a Christian. So that's why I think that if we understand what a liturgical action is, we will understand a lot of things. And why? Because in some way, liturgy, we will see, is conceived, Christianity, the church is a community. The community has a praxis, has an activity. Liturgy names the supreme activity of this community. This means that liturgy is the politics of the church. The ethics and the politics of the church. This way, when we consider community, then which is par excellence the praxis of this community, what we call ethics and politics. Of course, there are other activities, but when a community considered as such, not the individuals. What is the common praxis of a community? It's politics, it's ethics. And more precisely, it's politics, because you can have an individual ethic, but politics is a common activity, common action. So the politics of the church is the liturgy. And this is stated by theologians. I'm not saying this. I did not invent this. Eric Peterson, probably the greatest theologian of the 20th century, and it is the same theologians that had a big debate with Carl Schmitt on political theology. In the 20s, in the 30s, there was this big debate between Peterson and Schmitt concerning political theology. Peterson denied that such a thing as a political theology in the sense of Schmitt could exist, but on the other hand, he clearly stated there is no political theology in the sense of Schmitt, sense of state policy, state politics, but liturgy is the politics of the church. So it's both denying the idea that Christianism can be used in the profane politics, in the state sphere, but at the same time stating we have a liturgy, we have a politics, and this is liturgy. And to say the things exactly, probably the reason I began this investigation was that I was trying to answer to Hannah Arendt's big question: what does it mean to act politically? She never really answered. No one. I think that no one really answered to this question. But then I felt perhaps always using the idea of a parallel. Perhaps in here in the liturgy we can shift to a different domain, and perhaps here things will become clearer. My idea is perhaps if I understand what is a liturgical action, perhaps this can be useful to understand what is a political action. This was my shall we stop to but not the other day, only 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes, because then we begin again and we stop at 6 o'clock. As far as the proximity, the relationship between politics and liturgy is concerned, there is an etymological clear fact. What is the etymology of the term liturgia, the Greek term liturgia? Term.
The work of people.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you asked a question.
Wait until you spin the dial.
This term from the Greek laos, which means people. Later, it's an adjective from public, popular. And ergon, which means work. So it's an activity accomplished for the people. Public activity. Political activity.
Sorry, what was it? Ergon?
Pardon?
Ergon?
Ergon means work. Work. Work in the sense of operation, activity. And in Greece, particularly in Athens, liturgia, more specifically, was what rich people who had an income more than a certain amount had to do for the city, like, for instance, organizing the public games, the gymnastic game. This was called gymnasiarchia. Or, in the case of war, to rig a ship, to arm a ship. Can you say to arm a ship?
Yeah.
This was called the trierarchia, because that was the name of the ship. The warship in Greece was called a triere, etc., etc. So they play anything. So each citizen who had an income more than a certain time